Hey guys, today we got a fun little video planned for you, and I hope it goes as planned. We're going down to Liberty, New York on the old New York, Ontario and Western turf. Liberty, New York. Got some cool stuff in mind for you. Stay tuned. Let's go. Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Well, we are today in Liberty, New York. We are at the home of the Catskill Society of Model Engineers. Their Facebook group is Liberty Model Train Group. Oh boy, look at this. The Catskill Society of Model Engineers. They knew we were coming, they turned the lights on for us. And there's Charlie.
And Owen.
Chief cook and bottle washer, president and head engineer. And Owen. Say hello to Owen.
Owen, yeah.
Well, hey, Charlie, thanks for having us out today. This is awesome.
Really appreciate you coming by.
This is the New York, Ontario, and Western model train headquarters here of the USA. Let's go on inside and take a peek. All right, we're going in. We grabbed the obligatory spike on the door. Wow. Kids, would you look at this? Wow. How many scale miles of track? We did a quick walkthrough earlier. How many square miles of track are here again?
So it is 250 feet of double track main line, so 500 feet of main line. But the 250 feet is about 3 scale miles from north to south staging.
Wow.
So,
how about we start it?
You want to start up
south.
at well, this is the north.
Let's start at the north station.
Yeah. So we'll start up here. Pardon the mess.
Oh, this is where it all takes. This is the brains of the operation right here. Ground zero.
North staging. And everything coming out of here will be coming from points north of Hawk Mountain Tunnel and the Kenosha Yard up around Hancock. So trains coming out of the Scranton Division, all the coal drags are going to be coming out of Scranton, up the Scranton Division, up to Kenosha, and then heading south through the Hawk Mountain Tunnel and down through Delaware and Orange County. And all the way down to Weehawken and down to the coal docks, and the coal docks in let's see, Cornwall. Yeah, Cornwall had coal docks down there as well. So so Scranton Division, or when the New York, Ontario, and Western was first conceived as the Oswego Midland, the hope is that Oswego was going to become a major port city and transportation hub for goods coming off of the lake, and that never materialized. So
many things in railroading was on paper only.
Yeah,
and they never materialized.
Yeah, but you know, it was a shot. They took a shot at it, and so. Yeah, that's actually taken down near Bear Mountain, or
wow.
that painting is staged near Bear Mountain.
That's gorgeous. So from its southern point of origin, let's call it, to its northern terminus, it went from Weehawken, New Jersey to
Oswego, New York, up on Lake Ontario.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was not a spur, short line, branch line. This was Class A, #1.
Yep.
Railroad. Hey, Steve Porter's here too. Good morning, Steve. So let's start here and work out. Now look at this tunnel, guys. I know sitting in your comfy chairs, sitting in your comfy chairs, that looks like a hole in the wall, guys, but you should see it. How big is that? That's about 24 to 30 inches.
Yeah, that's at least 2 feet thick.
Wow.
It's a thick wall. That was 2 layers of brick, and there's a gap in between. So, yeah.
So we busted through the wall, and
Yep.
here we are on
And
the
so
other
here
side.
we are coming out of Hawk Mountain Tunnel and over the Delaware.
All right.
So that's our one portion of single track right there. And then the rest is all double tracked. And the first village we're into, and of course, you know, you have to make choices, and so, you know, towns and villages got left out, and but these were important ones along the route, and so
Yeah, so you touched on the main
yeah,
villages or hubs or important facilities along the way.
the ones that we thought were the most significant for us in,
Right.
in Sullivan and Delaware County.
I'm sure the O&W had its share of little podunk villages that it ran through.
Oh yeah, all sorts of whistle stops and stuff. Yeah, so yep, flag stops.
So
this is-
before we go any further,
Sure.
this is how many years in the making, this layout that you're about to see?
Well, with the exception of the 2 years we kind of lost during COVID, this is about 3 years worth of work.
Wow. Now what you're going to see here, guys, I'm a very, very amateur model railroader, but you're going to see some store-bought kits. You're going to see some what's called kit-bashed kits, which are you threw 10 boxes of parts together and built a building. And you're also going to see some custom one-off specialty built, what's the term you said?
They're scratch built.
They're scratch
Yeah,
built.
so every
buildings.
station on here is
Prototypical, that was the word I was
That's
looking
the
for.
One. Yeah,
Yeah.
So these are all custom-made prototype stations, and they are all built by John Forney.
John Forney, F-O-R-N-I.
Correct.
John, hats off to you, my friend.
He is an amazing model maker. And so the Hotel Delaware is scratch built.
Let's see the front. Oh,
This is the East Branch Station, and then the East Branch Water Tower. And so before the demise of the Delaware and Northern, before it was abandoned, this was the interchange in East Branch.
Okay.
And
So now we're moving up.
when we come around the corner, so this isn't a very accurate model, but the O&W had consolidations. Okay, so 280s. And that is the most recent Broadway Limited Industries, the BLI consolidation right there. Then we come around the corner. Now, inside radiuses are all 30 inches, outside are 33.
Okay.
And in some places they're a little bigger on the insides of the peninsulas, but the outsides 30-inch radius minimum.
And the reason for that, or one of the benefits of that, as you were explaining about the passenger coaches?
Operation, they just run better on it, and the passenger coaches, which are typically just about a foot long, or about 80 feet, they just run better and look better on bigger radius turns.
They're not all twisty, turny, awkward looking going around.
Hanging over.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
so we come in over the Trout Brook and into the town of Trout Brook or Peakville.
Peakville.
Yeah. And so these are all stand-in models right now. Well, I should say not all, but some. And so there will be an acid factory in Peakville, a sawmill in Peakville, which we've got a creamery sitting in for it right now, and a stone dock. And these are prototypical buildings for the town of Peakville, the train station, the hotel, and the post office. So,
And right here, something near and dear to our hearts is going to be a Bluestone stone dock.
Bluestone Stone Dock, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had modeled one of those on previous, on one of the portable layouts, and I've refined a pretty decent technique for modeling big stacks of bluestone too.
Nice.
And so we come around the corner here past where the Trey's Narrow Gauge Railroad, well, there'll be a little point-to-point up there on the hill.
Also something near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lumber and
Yep, that's going to
logging
be
railroad.
a logging railroad.
Nice.
Yeah, because he pulled a lot of lumber down for the acid factories. So, yeah, they were doing all the tanning, and so the tannic acid was all made from the hemlock.
Hemlock.
Yep. So we come into the town of Cooks Falls, or the village of Cooks Falls. So Cooks Falls had its own little siding. And the Cooks Falls Station still exists. It's in private ownership right now as a residence. The foundation for the water tower still exists. It was incorporated into the stonework for a really nice house up on the hill now. And we've substituted the creamery and ice house with a milk station stop, little milk can stop.
Okay, that's what this is right here. So this whole entire farm here would have had, there was a creamery right here.
There was a creamery, and there's a creek that comes in there. You can see it kind of roughed into the backdrop, and there'll be a little dirt road that comes in off of there too.
And the dirt road will go that way.
Yeah. So eventually there'll be a little bridge in here where the creek comes in. And then this is kind of a generic Delaware County farm scene here. And as you can see, we get the road vanishing off into the backdrop and everything, and additional farms out in that valley.
Now guys, you're going to see a lot of this along the way, pencil drawings and scratch drawings and things yet to come by Charlie. Charlie is the master, would I call you a mechanic? Charlie's the artist that's doing all the backdrops on this.
Doing the illustrations on this thing.
Wait till you see what's around the corner. Not that you haven't enjoyed what we've seen so far,
but wait, there's more.
Oh wait, there's more. Hey, that looks like an international grain truck up there. All right, so we come. Now we haven't started climbing grade yet, have we?
Actually, yes, we are climbing all the way around. Through this. Yep. So in the station areas, it's level, but everywhere else, it's a 2%.
Okay.
So,
and on this particular model railroad, the station areas and the yards are flat because.
That way our rolling stock doesn't run away from us.
See, in real life, they have brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is Covered Bridge Road, and then this is Hazel Road and Creamery Road here.
Okay. We're coming into
Livingston Manor.
Wow.
And so this is the Cattail Creek right here. And this creamery would have been further down the main line, but we've chosen to stick it in here on a siding that is kind of ad-libbed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this siding is a switchback off of an actual siding that serviced a lumber yard that will be in this area right in here.
Okay, so a lot more to come here.
A lot more to come there.
What was the word you used before? Artistic and
license.
Artistic and license.
Yep.
To kind of replicate what it probably was, but not necessarily exactly was.
So where we could, we tried to keep it as prototypical as possible, but you have to selectively compress things too.
Yes.
So
because we're dealing with 2 to 3 to 4 feet in some spots.
Yeah, this is about 30 inches deep right here, about as far as I can reach. So in the bigger areas, they got the more bench work and more road bed in the bigger villages. So this is Main Street, Livingston Manor. This is the Du Bois House, which still exists. Mm-hmm. This building actually functions as a bakery and is on this side of the Du Bois House in reality.
Okay.
The freight building still exists. The coaling towers are long gone, but the foundations are still there. And then the O&W had a 3-tower water tank, or a 3-level water tank on that one in Livingston Manor. The Livingston Manor Station, I believe there was a little like coffee house, diner in that little white building, and
right there.
Yep, there was another hardware store right in here. So
this feller's had a little too much to drink on a Sunday morning, hasn't he?
Our GI waiting for the train got tired. So. Yeah, I have to prop him up against the station here.
There you go.
I recently borrowed a bunch of the figures to use them on a portable layout for a show I did just a little while back. But
So basically, this whole complex here represents the Du Bois.
Du Bois Empire, yes.
Empire.
Yeah. So AP had a general store here and lumber yard and general freight as well. And then there's the tool house for the O&W station, and the O&W, or the Livingston Manor yard, was a really big yard. It was almost a mile long.
Wow.
And it had a turning Y, and they kept a locomotive staged here to push trains up and over Young's Gap, which was the high point of the railroad, and it is actually the high point of our railroad here.
Right.
And so this yard would have been, this is just a fraction of the actual size of the yard. But freight trains were dropped off here and broken up into local delivery trains from here as well. So
Livingston Manor represented a major hub on the O&W line.
Yep,
for
County,
redistributing cars and loads elsewhere.
Yep.
Now, Charlie and I had a discussion about this little guy right here as the prototypical helper pusher.
Yes.
During the steam to diesel transition on every railroad across our country and probably across the world, a lot of the steamers lasted 2, 3, 4 years into, sometimes 5 or 6 years into the dieselization period, which meant a changing of the guard, actually, even for the personnel, because you had the old grizzled veterans that were, from my cold dead hands, and they had to learn this whole new dieselization process. So this layout represents, at certain spots along the way, that changing of the guard. You'll see diesels, you'll see steamers.
Yep. So we're as is pretty common. We're modeling transition era, so that we get to do both.
Right.
We get the best of the steam and the best of the diesel as well.
Everybody's happy that way.
Yep. And since the O&W changed from, they fully dieselized in 47 and then they were gone in 57, there really wasn't a whole lot of,
Right.
there wasn't a huge period of time when they weren't steam.
Right.
So,
Right. So from Livingston Manor, we're heading this way.
Okay, so we're heading into Morriston, and so we cross over the Little Beaver Kill and into Morriston. So this is Dahlia Road, and then we come back around to Old Liberty Highway. We're crossing the Little Beaver Kill. Will bend around this way, and then this bridge still exists. And so over Old Liberty Highway, and then we come into the town of Parksville. That is Fox Mountain Road there. This abutment still exists, and all of the roads on this basically at some point or another become Old 17. Whether it's an old side road, we just model it as Old 17, which is the major route along the O&W right-of-way.
Right.
So,
and for those of you familiar with this area, this part of the region of our country here, you have the old original 17 and the new 17, which is future 86.
Yeah.
Now, we've seen those future 86 signs for how many years now?
Yeah. It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah. So, but only recently in Parksville did they build the bypass that eliminated a traffic light, which you cannot have on an interstate.
No traffic lights on interstates. No.
So, but up until very recently, up until a few years ago, Parksville had a traffic light on the highway. So,
here's a nice little salt box house.
yeah, little cottages and stuff. And so
now we're in Parksville.
So we're in Parksville, and of course, a prototype model of the Parksville station, of which the only thing left to show for that is the foundation in Parksville. The cemetery is still there across the tracks. And so I'll be modeling that here and building monuments and stuff for that one as well. And one of the little farms you can still see along the bypass on 17. And so we're coming up to our Young's Gap, which is where the pushers would have cut loose, and this is the high point of our railroad.
Here we are.
And of course, dotted throughout Sullivan County, they're going to be, there's Old 17.
There's
which
Old
is
17, concrete road.
Yeah. And so all along Old 17 and throughout Sullivan County were hotels, resorts, summer resorts, and farms and bungalow colonies. And so we'll be modeling one of those up on this hill up in here. which would be kind of the Ravona Hill neck of the woods outside of Liberty. And Kellerman's Mountain House, named after the Kellerman's Resort in Dirty Dancing. But this is modeled as a typical Sullivan County mission-style hotel.
Right. So now this area here is typically referred to as the Southern Catskills.
Yeah, still the Southern Catskills.
And the Northern Catskills would be up around
28, around Arkville, Margaretville.
Right.
Yep, that neck of the woods.
Right. So this was in closer proximity to, well, of course, New York City and some of the other, northern New Jersey cities, Newark and Philly. So this would have been the resort place to go for city folks.
Yeah, there were resort hotels all over this area. So it was huge. Yep. So we come around from Young's Gap here into the town of Liberty.
Oh.
So the Liberty Station, as it looked, it actually was built on a curve, and so I was very fortunate enough to be able to engineer this with just the right amount of radius to get the station to fit in there quite nicely. I did have to bump out the roadbed a little bit to make room for it, but it was worth the sacrifice in aisle space.
So that's another thing we talked about before, the aisle space, because this building is and will be open to the public to come in and view and enjoy. They're also trying to keep in mind, wheelchair accessibility, handicapped accessibility. So they'd much rather have a 1-foot walkway and more scenery and more railroad. But they are keeping that in mind for the public to be able to come in and enjoy it too.
With few exceptions, it's a 3-foot aisle.
Yeah.
So, yep.
So,
this is the one exception right
this
here.
This is it.
So, kind of a tight passing zone, but
yeah. Well, it's okay. I only had 2 donuts on my way here this morning. I can make it.
So we come past the Liberty Station and over the Lake Street crossing. This is the Killian's Transfer Station, one of the privately run freight houses in Liberty, and that building still exists.
And what is that building now?
And so that is currently the Bridge and Tunnel Tap Room for the Bridge and Tunnel Brewery down in Queens. So they're serving their handcrafted beers up here in Liberty now.
Beer?
Beer.
It's almost lunchtime.
Right? I'm sure, yep, it's time for a beer somewhere.
Yeah. Again, his little hand-taped, handwritten green frog-taped notes.
The notes, yeah.
Charlie, you're going to be busy for years to come here, my friend.
I got so much painting to do.
Oh, man.
So, so Liberty had a coaling trestle and another freight house that owned by the railroad. So that's the railroad freight house right there, and
that building, I believe you said, still exists.
That still exists as well, and it's a storage facility for NYSEG, who has their yard facilities in there now.
And NYSEG is New York State Electric and Gas.
That's correct. And then these 2 buildings still exist. This one's got a whole another lot of buildings around it, so but obviously we're standing where they would be.
They're suspended in air here.
They are suspended like the suspended, what is it? Suspension of disbelief, right? Yes. You have to be able to imagine stuff. Some more of John Forney's kits up here.
More of John's work up here.
Yeah.
I should have been filming that all along, because there's just, you can't see everything. You have to make more than one visit here, folks. This is just, you can't see everything in one shot unless you plan on getting here at 8 in the morning and leaving at 5. And Charlie's got things to do. He can't.
This is one of the sections of our portable layouts. If you can get your camera up there and get some pictures. It's probably a little dusty right now.
So Charlie and some of his cohorts have made transportable, movable layouts,
portable layouts
to bring to train shows.
Yeah, Walt and I took that up to Springfield, and it was a definite hit.
Oh, Amherst?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, definitely.
We've been there.
Yeah, we've done many shows at Amherst.
And these are John's work here.
These are all John's scratch-built buildings.
Wow.
Yeah, all the stations. Yep. Killian's transfer, all of that. So what we're going to do here, Liberty Fuels. So at one point there was a Standard Oil facility here. It's on one of the earlier maps, and there had been a small turntable back when they were still doing short little steam engines up in this neck of the woods, but that had long since been removed. And so what we decided to do with Liberty, with this area here, is we're going to expand upon that whole idea of the Standard Oil facility and turn it into a more of a major fuel oil station.
Okay.
So that and you know, you can get away with anything if you've got a good story. And so what we're going to do is
I know that
we're going to go under the premise that Liberty was the central location for fuel oil delivery throughout Sullivan County, and so that gives us the opportunity to run quite a few of the oil trains out of the Liberty area. So
and guys,
more traffic there.
We're giving away some of Charlie's secrets here. You see those empty cardboard rolls of tape? They look like oil tanks to me.
They're going to look like oil tanks when I get done with them.
Nice.
So. And then we come out of the Liberty Yard, and you'll see it. It's right at the end of the yard. It goes right into this cut, right up the street here. Up on the hill, I'm going to do a little forced perspective scene, and hopefully I can create the illusion up there that is the Ferndale Loomis area up on top of the hill in N scale, and push the limits of our imagination with that. But if I do it right, it'll click.
Well,
So.
I'm seeing it already because we've been looking at HO all the way to here, and what Charlie's referencing is the N scale buildings up on the back to give you that back perspective as far away.
Yeah, and then we get Loomis Road coming down here over this grade crossing. And we'll have a series of little creeks in here and such. And then we come around the corner, and we've actually got some ballast down in this area in here.
Oh, that's a nice cut right there.
Yeah. All this is all carved. I've carved all this out of foam.
Yeah.
So no plaster castings here. So
That's all hand carved.
yeah.
Wow. And these are probably pieces that you've taken and carved out of it.
That's it exactly. Yeah,
Wow.
we do like loose chunks and stuff like that because it's a. If you've been trekking up in this neck of the woods, it's rocky.
Yeah.
There's rocks everywhere.
So we've basically left the Liberty Yard area, and now we're in more of a rural.
Yeah.
Out in the sticks.
It opens up a bit.
Yeah.
And so, but we're basically on the side of the hill there, so we're on that cut and shelf area, and then we come down to the valley of the Mongop Creek, and this is the Ferndale Trestle.
Dun dun dun.
So this model took John Forney about 9 months to do.
Wow.
And it is a blueprint double track model of the Ferndale Trestle, 2 independent trestles with their own bents over the Mongop Creek, and it's got grade, it is curved, it is 11.5 feet long and 14 inches high over the Mongop. And then we've got the mural of Ferndale down in the valley,
Look at the curve.
which is still a work in progress. And so the this whole bridge section is removable so that when I get the chance, I can get in behind there and finish the mural.
And by that he means that beautiful mural back there. And what village is this?
This is Ferndale.
This is Ferndale.
Yeah.
Now these buildings and drawings are all based on photographs that he studies and burns into his brain and transfers it to his fingertips through a paintbrush and paints all of this by hand. I told Charlie earlier, I said, you know, I have a problem drawing a stick person, so my hats are off to you. This is beautiful. And look at that trestle work. That is just gorgeous. Now these piers, these concrete and stone, or are they all just concrete?
So portions of it that are attached to the trestle are resin castings that John did, and then I filled in the gaps with foam.
Wow.
So I did all the landscaping underneath this.
And in real life, out there and beyond the walls of this building, in real life, some or all of those are still left?
Most of them are still there.
Most of them are still there.
Yeah, you can still find the footings and the abutments.
Wow. So now where are we heading?
So this is Ferndale.
Okay. And you will see along, as you've been following, you'll see 30s vehicles, you'll see 40s vehicles, you'll see some 50s vehicles here and there. And that is the transition period. That's the heyday of railroading, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's another big
Depending on what kind of railroading you're into. So,
yeah, like you said, some guys like the Dash 8s and
they like the modern stuff. Yeah, they're running big diesels and everything. So once again, all this rockwork's all carved out of foam. So, that is a kit bash. That is a very common kit right there, a model power kit, Grandma's house, that I turned into more of a Sullivan County structure by adding the dormers onto it and everything.
Wow.
So
again, regionally across this great country of ours, you're going to have different architectural styles, and that's what they're trying to capture here, is this area.
So that coaling tower is actually the model of the Wurtsboro coaling tower. And so it's sitting in for we don't even have pictures of the coaling station that was there, but there was one in that general location as we're coming into Hurleyville. And so, or what was known as Luzon to the O&W on their track maps.
Now, why did they call it Luzon again?
Because they didn't want it confused with Hurley up near Kingston.
So Hurley, Old Hurley, West Hurley, and Hurleyville. So they said, let's just call it something totally different. Yeah, Luzon works.
They called it Luzon, yeah. And so the creamery is a prototype building that John did from photographs. And then that mission style building still exists.
Okay.
Most of this station still exists.
Yeah, I think you had said everything but this.
Everything but that,
here.
and yeah, that portion of the freight.
Well, that's good news. What is the building today as we stand here?
It's empty.
It's empty.
It's vacant, yeah.
Wow.
So, but you can just appreciate some of the attention to detail with John's work all underneath.
Wow.
Yeah. Just even if you don't see it, he models it.
He gets the rafter tails, he gets the soffits and fascias, and the cornices. Wow.
Yeah. So does incredible work.
Still doing incredible work, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh, there's a waiting list.
How many buildings are you waiting for?
I am not even holding my breath. And of course, O&W examples of O&W diesels, the F units, their F3s.
Yeah.
So,
I like the NW2s and I like the F.
Yeah,
that's just my favorite.
And of course, you know, that's just an IHC model that I modified. So IHC Camelback Mogul. So, but yeah, that feed and grain store was prototype.
And there's more drawings on the wall.
More drawings, more buildings.
He's like, I can't talk to you much longer. I got to get back to work. Paintbrush in hand.
Paintbrush, yeah.
And then we come around the corner.
Then we come around the corner through the marshes outside of Hurleyville.
Through the marshes outside of Hurleyville.
This is our south staging, and so this represents everything south of Summitville into Orange County, Middletown yards. So,
and down into.
And so here's where we build up most of the trains.
Okay.
Break them apart, reconfigure them, and send them back out. Send them back north. Typically, some loaded, some empty. You know, empties went north, full ones came south.
So out here is all the beauty and the model railroad that the public sees. We get beyond this wall, And this is where all the sleeves get rolled up, and the orders are put together, and the trains are made up to be sent out.
That's it. And of course, this area remains unscenic, and that way you don't damage anything.
That's
handling
right.
The trains.
That's right. And
So,
then we've got all throughout the building.
Oh, trains everywhere.
Just trains everywhere.
Yeah.
Shelving.
Yeah, a lot of really fine hand-built kits.
Did you ever have anybody say that to you?
Yeah, right.
Wow. Well, wow. WOW, capital letters, exclamation point. This has just been a real big treat. What do you think, Steve?
It is a true hidden gem.
True hidden gem here in Liberty, New York.
Remember when we talked about the bridge in Kenosha?
Yes.
That's it.
Oh,
John built
man.
that one too.
Look at that.
Yep.
How did I miss that? There's the spelling for you if you guys are following along. Kenosha. That is a scratch-built trestle.
Yeah, John built that for the late Alan Seebach, who unfortunately succumbed to COVID and did not live long enough to see it installed in his layout.
Oh,
so.
Man. Well, he's looking down on it now, that's for sure.
Yeah. If we had the room, we'd build more railroad.
Yeah. How big is this building? Just roughly.
30 by 50.
30 by 50. Everything you just saw, guys, is in a 30 by 50 building. Again, with these definitely accessible passageways and what do you call them?
Aisles.
Aisles.
Yep, our aisle space. Yeah.
So again, how does one find out about this? Do you have a Facebook page?
We do. Yep. You can. You can reach me directly at Cinder Track Bicycles.
Oh, let's get a close up of that.
There we go.
There you go. Cinder Track, guys.
Cinder Track Bicycles, located on the O&W right-of-way in Mountaindale.
All right.
845-434-4433 or cindertrack@gmail.
There you go.
I'm the club president, or Walt does a lot of our communications, and I can hook you up with him as well.
Nice, nice. Well, anybody watching this video, first and foremost, enjoy, appreciate, value. Teach the young kids the value of history. We cannot stress that enough. We try to in almost every video we do, because once it's gone, once in real life, this building, this model railroad is going to be here a long time. But the buildings, the abutments, the culverts, the infrastructure, the rails, the ties, just the simple stone culverts, they're disappearing at an alarming rate. And part of why we do what we do is to capture them on film for hopefully as long as YouTube and electricity's on the planet, I guess you'd say, for those to enjoy, but also to remember. And remember, we can learn from history. History is not just old fuddy-duddy stuff. It is to be taught and appreciated by the kids. Say goodbye to Elsie the cow. Bye-bye, Elsie. Charlie, thank you very much for the tour.
Real pleasure.
Be sure you guys get out here. Check it out. Get a hold of them. You got all this information, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, we are on the rail bed. That's the old freight station that NYSEG is using there. Mr. Finger showing you. Here is the rail bed. Right down through here. We're back in Liberty. And where have you seen this building before? Liberty, New York Rising. That's on the model. So this is a brewery now. I think Charlie said this place, yep, 2012, Bridge and Tunnel Brewery. And apparently, we'll find out more, but apparently they brew in Brooklyn and transport up here and sell here, and they've got a brewery here. As always, we're hanging off a cliff here. This is the railroad tie cribbing behind the brewery that is still retaining. The tracks curved off this way and went down to the coal trestle, the coal loading platform right there. So I'm not going to get any closer because there's a big old sinkhole right there. Hello, Mr. Raccoon. Let's go have a beer. So this is that New York State Electric and Gas NYSEG. And that's the freight building right there. Just a little closer view. We're finding out if the building... Oh, is he open?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
I tasted a cold beer, but not quite yet. Okay, so this gradient right here that we're on, full of coal and cinders, is the coal trestle line that went up there, and it was a pretty good jag to get up there, pretty good grade. But this is it. And this wooden platform down here,
That was probably a weight
this was probably the scale house, right?
scale house. Yeah.
Okay, so that right there, boom, 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 boom. That was the scale house for the truck.
Yeah, I don't think there was tracks where you're standing. I'll show you where those
Okay, that's got old writing on it. Can't quite make it out, but that's an old sign. There's the freight building from this end. Cars are parked back there. This is the bed. Charlie's way down there. He's like, Charlie's like Terry. Go, 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 go. And then we spend time catching up to him.
30-mile bike ride like nothing.
buried.
All right, we came upon these two big beautiful gems. This one here and the next one down.
Yeah.
Yep. Because on the model, the cut, the stone cut, is right down there. So Charlie, I got this cohort, Terry, that goes out with me. He's my rail buddy, and you and him are good. You take off 45, 50 feet ahead of me and wait for me to catch up. If I had you and Terry together, I'd never see you again till dark.
Well,
And this
I
old
figured
building.
I'd get you down to the major features pretty quick.
Yeah. So what were these two buildings?
So they were,
Other industries.
yeah. So basically feed and grains.
Feed and grain. Okay.
Yeah.
So what Charlie was saying is you can just see the cut, and we're going to go down there. I have some battery left. But the siding switched off. You think just this side of the cut?
As soon as it came out of that cut, it started down that grade right there.
So the switch was close to the cut, and it started down that grade, and it went down to where we just showed you the coal weighing platform area down there. So that was a pretty good drop-off grade. Okay, here is the cut, and it was double tracked through the cut, correct?
Correct.
The whole entire line was so Kadosha is this way?
Nope, Kadosha's behind us.
Kadosha's behind us.
Yep.
What was the trestle with the
So
abutments
the
you said?
Ferndale trestle. is
Ferndale.
down that way.
The Ferndale trestle is down that way. I apologize. I told you, my disclaimer when I first met you was I don't know this area at all, but we're learning. So that's the cut. And this is now a walking biking trail.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a rail trail.
A rail trail. But it's not paved at $2.1 million per mile.
No.
So that direction, my finger is now pointing northwesterly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I am underneath the freight building. They look like they're at least, oh, let's guess. I need Terry. They look like they're 5 by 12. And that main beam is absolutely gigantic. That main beam is at least a 14 by 8, supporting this whole freight building. Apologize for the chain link fence, but we like to get as many underneath shots as we can. Here, I'll tickle its belly. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Freight doors. There was a siding right here. I say it all the time, if these old buildings could talk, they'd have a lot to say. Okay, with most humble apologies to Brooklyn, they're located in Queens, New York. Look at the pretty lights and the ladders. You got the vibe going on. We are inside the Bridge and Tunnel Brewery here in Liberty. We have the owner, which I'll catch up to him in a second here. He was just about to leave. He shut down early today, but he said, come on guys, come on and take the 5-second tour. Man, oh man, this is it. We got it going on. So, name?
Rich.
Rich from Bridge and Tunnel. How long have you been here?
I've been in the building for 8 years, was building for 7.5, and we've been open for 12 weekends.
12 weekends. This is a fledgling business. And look, guys, hey, Steve, Charlie, he's got it. He's got it. Station agent number 24. That stove belongs in this building. So what was this building originally? It was a freight house. It was an industry.
The O&W Railroad would pull right alongside the building.
Uh-huh.
So they would drop ramps down and offload cargo right into this area.
Yeah. So this was like a general freight. It was not specifically just flour, just barrels of stuff, just lumber. It was mixed freight, probably.
Yeah, I believe so, mixed.
Yeah.
And they had a huge trucking fleet, the Killians did. So.
I like these tables.
Yeah.
I build custom furniture. It's called Ironwood Creations, and I combine old farm implements with rough sawn wood. This is cool.
Yeah, I built all this stuff too.
Oh, and look, guys, look, he's got a stage big enough for a band of 6. There's my shameless plug. Oh man, well, we won't keep you any longer. We appreciate you giving us a view. And we will tag you in the video, so we'll get you drummed up. You'll have 10,000 people here next weekend wanting to come in and drink. They'll be thirsty. We tell them, come thirsty. All right. Steve, you look thirsty. I hope you guys enjoyed this Liberty video as much as we did filming it and bringing it to you. Thanks for watching. Lost Railbeds. We'll catch you on the next one.